Hey, this is Advertising the Fifth coming back at you with another episode of Move to Sioux Falls. We had John Snyder, the owner of 605 Magazine, and he just told us all about his spontaneous adventures to Florida, Hawaii, and then it landed him here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota to start his business. And now you know where to get ice cream in anywhere in the 605. Thanks again, John, for being on. And if you like this content, hit that subscribe button to enjoy more.
Like it's already in water.
Yeah.
It's H2O.
Yeah.
But it adds in additional free hydrogen, which is good for your body.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
When did you start doing the whole antioxidants, all that stuff?
Oh, that? I've only had that for about a month.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Maybe I'll have to get one.
If you
Are they pricey? Or are you like, no, they're good?
that was $200.
Okay.
So
bad.
it's more than I wanted to spend, but it vents chlorine gas out the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Cheaper ones will sometimes get that chlorine in there when it creates hydrogen, and that's bad for you.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I would think so.
Yeah. It's but hey, you can buy one for $30 and you get a little free chlorine.
Yeah. That's awesome. Dude, I feel like we haven't talked about just shooting the shit about anything, We're always just in work mode all the time,
Yeah.
So
It's been a little catch up,
Yeah.
run and run. No,
For sure.
hurry up and wait, but there's no wait.
yeah, for sure. Well, that alone, the antioxidant, Kayla and I are very crunchy, whole food, make sourdough. I feel like that's just a little connection I have with you now. It's
There you
oh
go.
yeah, I'm gonna try to go get some hydrogen in my water. So
Yeah, it's good. It'll dissipate out of that in about an hour. So you have to drink it.
oh,
Or
okay.
you can just push a button again.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. So hopefully we'll get done before that.
It's not wasted.
Yeah, it's not gonna waste. So, so HitFire Questions. Favorite place to go eat in Sioux Falls?
In Sioux Falls?
Yeah.
Jeez. I would say that varies, but as of right this very moment, I'm craving Everest.
Everest.
It's Nepalese. Is that the
Okay.
way to say
Yeah.
it?
Okay. Yeah.
They're from Nepal, or they're not from. I mean, they might be from Nepal, but the food is from Nepal.
Okay.
So the naan bread and chicken korma.
I haven't been there yet.
Super good.
Okay.
But if you asked me in an hour, it might be Mama's Ladas
Okay. Gotcha.
or somewhere else.
Does it change fairly regularly or no?
I mean, that's why we're not the robots.
Okay.
Because
Good.
we have varying opinions and they change. I love food, and there's so much good food in this state. And Sioux Falls especially has such a good saturation of food here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Favorite place to go in, let's just say Sioux Falls, and if you're I can't pick, maybe we just say South Dakota as
Okay.
well. So
Yeah.
favorite place in Sioux Falls.
For food?
Not food, just a location, or if it's a park or somewhere a hobby or something. It was hey, this is my favorite place to be at.
Man. That's tough. One of my favorite places to go is Nick's Hamburgers, which is another food place.
Oh, that's a great
up in
place.
Brookings.
Yeah.
I like taking my son there.
Yeah.
It's fun to sit there and have a milkshake and sit at an old, they haven't done anything that bar, I guess you'd call it, even though it's not a bar, but they make the same burgers they've made in forever. There's a place like that that my dad used to take me to in Philly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We call that in our in the Sodex Days recommendation guide. We say Nick's Hamburgers is worth the drive. You got to just drive a little bit, but it's worth it.
I've done that
So-
at least a handful of times with him. I pick him up from daycare and say, "Hey, buddy, you want to go get Nick's?" And he says yes. And then we're about 35 minutes into the drive, and he's like, "Are we there yet?" So, but in Sioux Falls, my favorite thing to do is the bike path.
Okay.
I don't do it as much as I should, but the fact that it's there and walking along the river or riding, bicycling and stuff like that, that's always it's awesome. It's a great thing. You can't add to a city. You have to have a river going through it.
For sure. That was Mayor Paul's favorite as well. So
Good. Yeah. You know what? He's probably works out a little bit more than I do, but
hey, great minds think alike, though. So
It's true. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I'd say we're equally as fit.
um favorite place to go visit in the US, or we could say the world. It's up to you.
Um, I've climbed Mount Rainier twice. And it was a lot, but it was like the most clear-minded I've ever been. So I would say that Pacific Northwest is really a cool area to be, especially during the right times of year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Disney World was pretty sweet for different reasons.
Yeah. Disney World is. I feel like after a while, like Disney World kind of like loses its like awe factor.
Yeah, probably run out of money. It's they're good at pulling it right out of your wallet, but as long as you're willing to spend it, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, at some point you're like, $19 for an ice cream?
Yeah.
This is rough.
Yeah, for sure.
But then the kids look happy and you're like, $19 for an ice cream.
Last question. I actually have never asked anybody this yet. Do you play an instrument, or is there an instrument you would have loved to play or learn to play?
The same answer to both. I am newly playing guitar because I always wanted to, never did. My dad played guitar. And my dad still plays guitar.
Yeah.
That sounded morbid for a second. But I just sort of decided I'm going to figure this out. So I bought one. The trick was to spend a little bit too much on it.
Okay.
So you feel guilty.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
So it's been going about a year and change, and I know quite a few chords.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure what to do with them. I can play them.
It's funny. I started playing guitar last year when my dad passed away. He played guitar. So like I felt like I needed to, based off that, not based off guilt, right, of buying an expensive guitar. But I like downloaded this app called Simply Guitar. It's a great app, and it taught me all the chords, and like it kind of teaches me strumming, and so
I'm on the same boat. I did a Fender play.
Okay, yeah,
it's probably the same thing.
Kind of similar, yeah.
So. And it's good. I've learned things, and I feel accomplished by it. And my 5-year-old thinks I'm great.
That's good.
So
there we go. Yeah. So
if only he knew.
Yeah, I feel like I'm playing and I'm like, this sounds terrible.
There's flickering moments of good in there.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Well, I'm Albert Heisey. You're John Snyder.
Yep.
So we get that right. You're the owner of 605 Magazine.
Yep. My wife and I, 605 Magazine and 605 Creative Company, and 605 Cabin.
Cool.
So yeah,
that's a lots of jam pack into an episode. But we're here at the Washington, which is a 605 Lofts. It's a loft that you own with 3 others here on top of the office.
Yeah.
Kayla and I, we own Sodex Days. We manage these properties for you. And I run Move to Sioux Falls, which is a real estate company to help people buy, sell, and invest in real estate. Kind of started this to just say, hey, it's not about a real estate transaction. It's about something bigger than that. And I'm just going around the town of Sioux Falls to find out like who people are, why they picked here, like what makes the community of Sioux Falls so awesome. So just kind of kick it off with like, how'd you get here to Sioux Falls? Like why Sioux Falls? You kind of talked about Philly a little bit in our HitFire questions. Like, have you always been here, or like kind of how'd that happen?
Sure. So the short answer is I met my wife, who is from Sioux Falls, when we were both living in Hawaii. And so we started dating there for a few months, and she didn't tell me she didn't live there. Eventually we had been dating for a while, and she said, hey, I gotta go. And I said, what? And we did long distance for a while, and then ultimately decided to live the summer in LA. She had a job out there for the summer, and she was working for a famous person's clothing company doing marketing. We just hung out, and then it was time to decide to move back to Hawaii or come here. And I had not heard of South Dakota, like anywhere really specifically besides knowing it was a thing. And I love it. I really, really, really enjoy it here. I don't think I'd live anywhere else.
I'm the same way. So how did you get to Hawaii? Like I'm kind of jealous.
Okay. Um, I grew up in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up in Philadelphia. I lived there all the way through high school, between there and Pittsburgh. My dad was a minister, so we bounced around a little bit in the state. And I moved to Florida, to Cocoa Beach,
Okay.
and it's just south of Cape Canaveral.
Yep.
And I took up surfing, and I was there for about a year and a half. And like this was still when they were doing launches. So if I'm going to date myself a little bit, they were actually sending the space shuttle up at that point. So there was a time where I was surfing and I saw a space shuttle go up, which is pretty cool.
Hey, you look great for your age. I would have never guessed it.
Thank you. I'm 1,000 years old.
Okay. Yeah, like we'll just put it at
Dead on 1,000
We
this
should
year.
get the medical teams to like study you if you're 1,000 years old. So.
It's vampire stuff. They don't want it. So I had a buddy living in Hawaii.
Okay.
I went out to visit, and I got in a argument with my girlfriend at the time over the phone, and just said, "Hey, I'm not coming back."
That's awesome.
So I stayed in Hawaii. I brought my truck over on a barge and lived out there for 3.5 years. Just hung out and surfed and played like in the sand and just lived the life of like an early 20s. It was awesome.
That's awesome. I told my Kayla, my wife, I said, "Hey, if I didn't meet you like our senior year of college, I would have just like moved out to Hawaii, tried to like start a tiki bar and just live the life."
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I really had a lot of fun. Eventually, when Alana and I bumped into each other at a Kinko's in line, she got on my motorcycle. I sold my truck, bought a motorcycle.
Okay.
And I said, "Hey, you want to go to the beach?" And I gave her my helmet, and we went to the beach and hung out for 3 days. Just kept dating, and
That's awesome.
yeah, it was fun. And then came here. I love it here. I feel like I should have been a South Dakotan to start,
Yeah.
and I wasn't. So now I am very happy that our son is like born here and is going to be raised here. And I love this area. This is such a cool part of the country that gets slept on by a lot of people that think they have stuff figured out other places.
Yeah. I mean, I'm originally from New Jersey, and I wish like probably should have been in South Dakota, born and raised. Probably. I vibe with the people here.
Yeah.
Always. So.
But it's nice to have been other places.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would appreciate everything here
for sure
in the same ways I would if I hadn't been other places.
Yeah.
So
totally agree.
That's a fair criticism for, when we started 605 Magazine, it was one of our main goals was to keep people in the state here and in the city of Sioux Falls. At that point when we just started it, it was just Sioux Falls. One of our main goals was we didn't like people just graduating and leaving.
Yeah.
Like because they thought that's what they had to do. We just thought there wasn't enough coverage of fun stuff going on.
For sure.
So that was one of our main things.
Yeah. So I think that kind of leads in like, so you met your wife, you guys went to LA, you decided, hey, we need to move back to South Dakota, or you need to like drop that relationship, go back to Hawaii, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So what year did you make it to South Dakota in Sioux Falls, and then how long from your move here to when you started 605 Magazine?
Yeah. 07.
Okay.
Moved here in the fall.
Okay.
Decided that, hey, there's winters here. I probably need to get a different vehicle besides a motorcycle.
That would be good.
Yeah. That was not my wisest choice. And then I basically... It was January 09 when we started 605.
Okay. So January 09 started. Did you guys have background in like writing or magazines or marketing, or it was like, did you go to college for that? Is that what your wife went to college for?
Yeah. So Alana went to USD.
Okay.
And has a double major in English and mass communication.
Okay.
Journalism.
Yeah.
I think they call it it's English and then whatever the journalism program's technically
She's definitely
called.
qualified is what we would say.
She is. That's why I think our magazine stands, maybe at least with the ones that come out monthly and they're distributed for free. I think we're one of the only ones that has that pedigree from a writing standpoint,
For
maybe.
sure. Yeah.
I apologize if that's not accurate, but
Yeah.
she knows what she's doing. I have a background in photography,
Okay.
and so I have picked up the mantle there. After the first couple of years, we were partnering with people that were better than we were at that point.
Yeah.
We've caught up, and we do our own photography and videography and everything. And
Gotcha.
yeah, it's been fun. We've won some awards and done some really cool stuff over the last 15 years.
That's awesome. So you started the business. How did you like just kind of grow? Was it like the city of Sioux Falls kind of helped you grow, or was it like, like you just blood, sweat, and tears, and then like you had to expand because there wasn't enough profits or revenue coming through just the Sioux Falls vehicle, or was it like, hey, we want to cover the whole state? Like, where was the mindset with like growing from just Sioux Falls into what it is today?
We started in Sioux Falls because it's where we lived, and that's all we could achieve, basically.
For sure.
From a distribution standpoint and covering. I mean, we were like a lot of people that they haven't gone west across the river much.
Yeah.
And I think that's the minority of people now. But 15 years ago, it was hard to get messaging, fun things to do in some of the smaller pockets of population. And so as soon as we started getting stories and story ideas incoming from different areas, people would say, hey, can we get magazines out here? Can we do it? And eventually the first step was Rapid City because there's a big population there.
Yeah.
And we had some stories that we had covered there. And they wanted to know what was going on in East River, and we wanted to know what was going on in West River. And we tried to start doing some more coverage.
For sure.
And then that blossomed into all of the other smaller communities below those population densities, which are still big.
Yeah.
And so we're able to work with partners throughout the state to get our own distribution done. We do our own distribution. So once a month, we have a lot of people that are taking an afternoon off and helping us in, Watertown or
That's cool.
Aberdeen or Brookings or Pierre and all throughout the hills.
It's crazy how fast like technology has grown since like '09, right? Like when I mean, I'm still young, but in '08, like that's 8th grade, like that's when like Wi-Fi kind of became available. That was like the like new thing, and now it's like, oh, we're getting 5G and like everything's just like so streamlined in a span of 15 years, right? So I appreciate you kind of giving us just that overview of like how you kind of expanded and the distribution. I think a big thing I want to know too is like, what's like one of the best stories like you've been able to cover to like say like South Dakota is awesome, because I love the state and how it's like Sioux Falls, biggest city in South Dakota, and it's like city, and then you have like the wilderness out west, so it's like really cool divide. So like maybe you give me your like best story that you've been like, wow, this is South Dakota.
It would be impossible to pick one, but
Okay.
the one that I was most excited about shooting and that I thought was most interesting, it's not really fair to any other story, but it was the old Homestake gold mine.
Okay,
How they're
yeah.
doing the CERN, the Sanford Underground Research Facility, laboratories and everything down there. We got a chance a few years ago to go down a mile underground.
That's awesome.
And shoot photo and video down there, and they don't let a lot of people down there.
Yeah.
And that was really cool and really sketchy to go down.
I would say that's pretty dangerous too, I would think.
I don't. They have, if it goes wrong, sure, it's dangerous, but they're very controlled with it. But you do go down an open-sided elevator very fast for a long time, and you're just watching the ground whip by you.
Yeah.
For a long time, and you're just going, there's no way we're getting out of here if this thing like doesn't run us back up, because it was nuts. And they have safety rooms down there with oxygen and food and shelter. But yeah, if when they turn off the lights to make a point, they're like, hey, look how dark it is down here. There's nothing.
For sure.
It is pitch black. But that was a cool thing. There was scientists from all over the world down there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we saw particle accelerators, and they were building a lot of stuff down there that's probably finished at this point. But yeah, there's people from all over the world down there doing neutrino experiments and fun stuff.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty cool.
So how many times do you have to like travel to all these different cities? Like, is it? I know your home base here is in Sioux Falls, but is 605 magazine just like always on the run, like every other day, every 3-5 days? Just kind of let the viewers know like how day in the life works at 605 magazine.
Sure. The summers, we travel all the time, and especially in the summers.
Yeah.
2 days ago, we were in Highmore covering the Sunflower Festival, and that's just east of Pierre. 2 days before that, we were in Rapid City, Custer, Spearfish, and a week before that, we were on a separate trip, we were in all of those same cities.
Yeah.
Out west for 6 days shooting. And so that's a combination of our 605 creative company and our magazine. So we'll try to make good use of our time. We bought one of those big Sprinter vans.
Yeah.
That can hold, we outfitted it to seatbelt 7 people and sleep 4 if need be. The seats all fold down and stuff. And so that's made it a lot easier to travel and carry all our gear, 10-foot long, like rails to run cameras on and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
You can't put that in most cars.
Yeah.
So
it held those couches too.
Yep.
The couch that we brought up here too, right?
The couch right over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that thing was so heavy to bring up here, man.
Sleeper couches are not fun. So, I'm just not sore anymore.
Yeah.
From about 3 weeks ago.
Do you so like you said you're traveling a lot in the summer? Does that kind of switch because winter there's less activities going on, or is it just harder to travel in the winter? Or
we travel a lot in the winter.
Okay.
But more people want when we generate like footage, like photo and video for clients.
Yeah.
Outside of the magazine, which has become a big part of our business over the last 5 years. That is, people want that stuff generally when it looks nice out.
Yeah.
And it looks nice in the summer.
I actually think like a white snowfall is pretty nice too. So
Sure. We catch a bit of that here.
yeah. I not last year. We actually got lucky last year, So that was, if we could have one of those winters again, that'd be great,
You're going to have to settle that up with all the people wanting to do snowmobiling out on the west side of the state.
I know. So, well, it'll be okay if it snows on the west side and just like Sioux Falls doesn't.
Yeah,
so,
let's do that.
Yeah, let's just do that.
I like that.
Yeah, and then we can all travel over there, give them a little economy boost from our side, right?
Yes.
So, do you guys design like all your like own shirts and like apparel and all of that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do a lot of things that would be a lot easier to have somebody else do.
Okay.
Probably. But we like doing it. It's creative.
Okay.
There are like, for instance, this shirt was actually is an exception to that. This was designed by Molly O'Connor, who's an artist here in town.
Okay.
And we did it for stickers, I think maybe about 5 years ago.
Okay.
So we Molly's our friend, and we basically said, "Hey, Molly, can we pay you to design? Could we like your style? For this project that we have?" And she said, "Sure."
I only asked because, when we partnered up to do the managing of the lofts, we got 605 shirts.
Oh,
and I was like, I really like these. They're like really cool, funky designs. It's like, I know I hired out like the Sodex Days one. I hired out, and I'm just like, I wonder if they hired out or if they design it themselves. So
9 out of 10 things we do are like from a design aspect, like Molly's shirt and sticker, and then the mural downstairs.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We just hired a person that we thought would be a really good fit for that vibe. If we can't do it, we'll hire someone to do it. But in most cases, we're doing almost all the design work ourselves. We have full-time designers and photographers. We take all our own photos. We do most everything ourselves.
That's awesome. How big is your team now? How many?
We're 5 full-time and part-time delivery people. I'd say we have probably 9 across the state.
Okay.
And they cover pockets of space. And then we have some writers, freelance writers that have been with us for a long time. And that relationship is, and our editors are internal and stuff like that. So
Yeah. It seems like you guys are always on the move, like traveling to these little pockets. What would be like something that like you're like, I love Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls is our home base, but like you're like, oh, I love going to this little pocket. Like whether it's like you're working on a job, but then like you bring your son along with you, and you're like, oh, we're going here. We're bringing our son.
Yeah. Owen.
Owen. Okay. I was like, I couldn't remember his name right off the bat. I was like, okay. So you bring Owen along, and you're like, oh, we're bringing Owen along because we're going to this place in the state.
Yeah. I would say that's probably spearfish.
Okay.
We like spearfish. We have our 6-5 cabin.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
hideaway out there between spearfish and Deadwood.
I love the ice cream over there. There's what's that guy? What's that name of that place?
In Spearfish.
Yeah.
I was wearing their shirt yesterday.
It starts with an L.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why I blanked on it. Leon's Creamery.
Leon's. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So good. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out.
I was literally wearing their sweatshirt yesterday. They're it is fantastic. They have a goat cheese ice cream that's super good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it hasn't been on the last little bit, but I think it might be
a
winter thing.
They change their flavors, which I think is a really smart marketing play for them. So okay, Spearfish.
That's a solid place. There's also, we just did a feature about a month and change ago on different ice cream from around the state. There is also really good ice cream down in Custer. There's in Rapid City, Silver Linings Creamery.
Yeah.
And then in Sioux Falls, there's good ice cream, obviously.
Yeah.
There's more opportunity with population density here to have enough people
to
support multiple places. But yeah, we did with Stensland's here is really good.
Yeah. I was actually very surprised by how good the pizza was over in Custer. So I was like, whoa, this is really good.
Yeah. One of the best restaurants in the state, if not the best, is in Custer. It's what do you call
it?
Skogan,
yeah. You'll pay a pretty price, but you're gonna get really good food. So.
Yeah, they're solid. And her sister-in-law or sister, I think it might be sister-in-law, just opened a breakfast place in Custer called Heim.
I think it's
HJ
AM Heim or something like that.
Heim
AM. Yeah, Heim AM.
One of those.
Yeah, and it's what nationality are they representing from that Heim AM? I think it's not Dutch. It's
could be.
I can't remember.
Nordic.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
but it was good. I had a fish for breakfast there, and that's not something I thought I'd say, but it was really good.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have the fish. I had when I was there a couple of months ago. It was like this sandwich thing, and it had this like amazing sauce on it. And usually my wife orders the good thing, and I'm like, man, I wish I ordered that.
Yeah.
Does your wife do that, where she like orders the good thing? And you're like, yeah, I wish I ordered that.
No, I kind of.
You do it.
I won't try it because then there's no upside to trying someone else's food, because either you don't like it or you do like it more than yours, and then you're gonna suffer through your own food for the rest of the.
That's a good idea. Like pro tip, everyone.
Don't try other people's food.
Yeah, and then you could try it the next time you go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you have to split it 50-50.
Okay. Yeah.
And then at least you have enough to like.
That's what I did. That's a good idea, because I did that at our wine bar, and my wife got the steak and gnocchi, and then I tried it. And I was like, I'm an idiot. I should have got that. And then every time since, I've gone and gotten that.
Good.
So
yeah, that's a good place.
What's like the hardest part about your job?
It's just time.
Yeah.
We work too much. We like it, but we work too much.
Yeah.
We wouldn't possibly work as much as we do for something we don't love doing.
For sure. Yeah.
But we like it.
Good.
So it's kind of a misnomer a little bit there. Like we work a lot, but our work is fun.
Good.
So
yeah, you can't do something that you're not passionate about. So
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't be doing real estate if I wasn't passionate about it. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a why behind it is, my parents went bankrupt from the whole real estate crash in '07. I kind of like learned through that, and now full circle, the Lord has me like back doing real estate. But there's got to be a why or like a love behind it or a passion or something that kind of keeps the fuel going instead of just like, oh, I make money.
Yeah.
Like, well, then like, what are you doing it for? So everyone can make money doing something. So
I'm happy to be doing something we
Good.
think is fun, and generally it's making our state and our area better.
Yeah.
I hope by shining a light on a lot of fun things.
for sure. Has there been any like local books or like people that have been like inspired you at all that you were like have been like, wow, I'm glad they came from the state of South Dakota or Sioux Falls or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tons. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say Dick Termes,
Okay.
who's an artist from Spearfish, and he does globes, if you will. They're a physical drawing on the outside of a sphere,
Oh.
and they'll hang and they'll rotate slowly. And he draws them, and I think it's a 6-point perspective, which is a way that if you kind of stand the right distance from it and you look at it, it looks like you're looking at a flat piece.
Oh, wow.
That is moving as it spins slowly. It's really interesting. He's incredible.
Wow.
People buy his art from all over the world. And we're lucky enough to have one of his original pieces that he did in 1984 or 86.
Okay.
It's of the Adams house in Deadwood.
Oh.
And so it's a drawing of the Adams house. And as you rotate it, you see a couple mirrors throughout like the living room of the Adams house, and you see him in the reflection. And Dick's got to be in his 70s or 80s at this point.
Okay.
But in the reflection, he's got brown hair instead of a white beard.
Okay.
Like he's had ever since I've known him. But he's incredible. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Is it downstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out.
We're still finding the right place to hang it. We're still finishing up a couple things.
Okay.
But it's there. I'll show it to you.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to see it. That'd be awesome. One of my last questions is, if budget wasn't an issue, what would the 3 things that you would bring to Sioux Falls? Like if budget wasn't an issue.
Oh, professional football team,
Okay.
professional baseball team, and then, man, I'm not sure on that third one, but
Okay.
football and baseball at a professional level would be awesome.
Yeah,
We just don't have enough people here yet.
for sure.
But there, like if you look at Green Bay, Wisconsin, it's not incredibly bigger than us. I don't know what
sure.
their actual population is,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's huge. I think it doubles every time there's a football game.
Okay.
So they have a professional football team.
Yeah.
But that would be cool. That's one of the main things I miss about being back east is watching the Phillies and the Eagles. And
Sure. So I'm guessing you're an Eagles fan.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I actually am a Giants fan because I grew up in New Jersey.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know the Giants are bad, but at least I got to see them win like 2 Super Bowls in my lifetime. So
That's true. You guys did stop Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And so did we.
yeah.
Between-
Only NFC East teams, right?
Yeah. Between Nick Foles and Eli Manning, that's 3 Super Bowls that Tom Brady didn't win.
Yeah. So we're good there.
We're good there, yeah.
I think if we get a football team, which I talked to the Origin Strength guys about, they were just on our episode that just released. Like, what was it? Yes, I don't even remember. I lose track of time. But they wanted a professional football team, and I was like, well, if we get a professional team, like you'll have to stop liking your team back home or what team you're rooting for. Like, could you ever like let go of the Eagles, or you'd be like, never mind, I don't need this team here.
I couldn't let go of the Eagles, but what I could do is be neutral
Okay.
if they played like a Sioux Falls, Karate Pirates,
Okay.
or whatever we would call
I
it.
love the name. Like, I've never heard of something so outlandish, but I think that would be great. I feel like it would be like the Sioux Falls Buffalo or something like that. I feel like
We'd
it
have
would
to
be.
do something like the Savannah Bananas
Okay.
That like comedy baseball team where they dance and do
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we'd have to go over the top on that.
I've seen them. That's great. And then baseball is just like another
It's just
American.
another sport I like.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
baseball and football are probably my two favorite.
I think like if we got rid of the Canaries and we had like a feeder team like that goes to like the Twins or the Cubs or something, I think that would be great as a starting point.
Well, it might be. The Canaries are obviously awesome, but it might maybe an affiliation with a I don't quite understand the AA, AAA, single A and the way that those organizations, if they were created by the main team or if they were absorbed, because the Canaries could kind of do what the G League does or the NBA.
The NBA G League.
So
yeah.
we have an affiliate, a basketball affiliate, and they're with the Heat, I believe.
Yep.
And they've been with other teams though. For a season or two, they were part of the Sixers organization.
Yep.
And so I'm guessing that you could take a baseball team that exists, like the Canaries, and have them connect with something like that.
We should totally do that. Maybe I'll get the guy who runs the Canaries on one of these and
Like,
be
hey, let me tell you how to run your team.
yeah.
People like that.
Yeah, right. I get that all the time, right? Do you get that all the time? People are like, "Hey, you should try to do this."
I had a lady yesterday knock on our door and tell us that we were bad journalists, and then about 10 minutes into the conversation, I realized she was talking about another business. She confused us for another business. So I got to hear 10 minutes of browbeating for something we didn't have anything to do with.
For sure.
That was fun. So
That's
sometimes.
funny. Yeah. I know we were just kind of rambling a little bit, but did you think of a third thing
That I'd bring here,
that you'd bring here?
some sort of major amusement park.
Okay. Yeah, I love Six Flags, so I think we should get a Six Flags here.
Yeah,
Or-
I mean, if we could have some sort of, if you look at our positioning in between big cities, we're the biggest city between Omaha and Minneapolis.
Yep.
And so we're kind of at the crossroads of 29 and 90.
Yeah.
There could be some support for something like that, or it could just be a big giant water park, except the problem is it's freezing half the year.
Yeah, and we already have Wild Water West. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think if they keep expanding little by little, I think we'll be good on the water park side. But I definitely agree. Amusement park would be so sweet.
Yeah.
So that's all the questions I have, John. I really appreciate you being on and telling us a little bit about why you came to Sioux Falls, what 605 Magazine is doing, and appreciate it, man.
Yeah. I appreciate the opportunity.
Cool.
Awesome.
How'd you think it went?
Good.
Good.
Now we'll start rolling and then we'll do it for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you like this video, don't subscribe. Seriously, we have enough subscribers already. Give the video a like and watch some past videos, but don't subscribe.